When it comes to overcoming church abuse, it is so important to go no contact with high control religion. And here's a trigger warning mentions of CSA. But when I was a young adult and I first came forward about having had been as abused as a child, my pastor did rebuke me and he rebuked me harshly. He had more compassion for my abuser than he had for me. Now, the person who had harmed me was my stepfather, and he dictated to my mother that she couldn't get a divorce. It's not that he had a conversation with her or even was able to absorb what I was trying to explain to him or how all of this was affecting me. He just had this rule that he enforced. And he dictated to me that I had to forgive, that I wasn't allowed to be angry. He felt that I was bitter just because I wanted accountability for what happened to me and I wanted protection for other kids. My mother did stay in her marriage. Now, she is 100% responsible for her own choices, but she was also manipulated by a man of God. In time, my mother started to triangulate our family and friends against me as a means to desperately keep our family secret, especially because she stayed in the marriage. And in those days, I didn't know any better. I didn't have the life experience that I have now. And I would defend myself and I would argue and I would get baited and I would cry and I would scream and I would lose emotional control over myself. And it was all of the evidence that my family needed to back up these false claims that were being made about me. At some point, I realized that I was out of steam. I was out of steam to keep arguing. I realized that I just couldn't do it anymore. And at that point, I just cut everybody off. In those days, I didn't know that there was a term called no contact. I didn't know that this was a thing that people do. I just knew that I needed to do it. And after that, I stopped arguing with people. I stopped seeing myself as this angry, volatile person. I was able to find stability within myself because I wasn't surrounded by people who were destabilizing me. Now, if your spiritual community is healthy, that's wonderful. I'm glad you found that. But if your spiritual community is full of people who are crossing your boundaries, triggering you, you're finding yourself ruminating, those are pretty big red flags. Going no contact isn't easy, but it has been vital to my healing. One thing I've learned is that I can't change anybody else. I can't make anybody see what they don't want to see. The only person I can change is me. And that's what going no contact gave me the opportunity to do is focus on me and work on healing me. Part 3 of this series on overcoming church abuse is don't replace mental health care with church counseling. I want to go into the reasons why, so please follow me for part 3.